Hey everybody, how's it going? How you doing this afternoon? All right, we're going to talk about some spoilers. We got some spoilers. Quite a bit to go over today. I'm going to clip on the first two because they're foreign language. We got Curious Inquiry for 1 blue enchantment aura. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, investigates. Not too bad. It's actually pretty good. Next up, we got us a case for 1 white. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. And to solve, you had to gain 5 life. And then once it's solved, you sacrifice the case, and creature cards in your graveyard gain when you can cast this card from your graveyard until end of turn. Interesting. So it's a life gaining case. And once you solve it, you get to reanimate out of your graveyard. That ain't bad for white. All right. Next up, we have us a red instant that cannot be countered. 4/5. 4 generic and a red. This spell cannot be countered. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature. It gains haste until end of turn. Then suspect it. Oh. So once you give it back to your opponent, it has that suspect on it. So it'll lose ability to block. Not too bad for 5 though. That's a little high for take control of a creature. All right. Let's go on to the next one. For 5 blue, we got a Sphinx Detective with flying. You may collect evidence 10 rather than pay the mana cost for spells that you cast. So does that mean you get to cast your spells for free by collecting evidence 10? Maybe. I'm not really for sure on that just yet. Well, next one we have Behind the Mask for 1 blue instant. As additional cost to cast this spell, you may collect evidence 6. And it has that May ability in there, therefore you don't have to do it. Until the end of turn, target artifact or creature becomes an artifact creature with base power and toughness 4/3. If evidence was collected, it has base power and toughness 1/1 until end of turn instead. So you can use this for a buff by not paying the evidence. And if you pay the evidence, then you target your opponents and turns it into a 1/1. Nice. Next, we got Rebel Belts Maverick for 1 green. Human Detective. When Rebel Belt Maverick enters a battlefield, surveil 2. Nice. And for 1 green, exile Rebel Belt Maverick from your graveyard and put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Activate only as a sorcery. So when it enters, you get to surveil 2. That's the only time you get to surveil. But when it dies, for 1 green, you can exile it and put a +1/+1 counter on a creature. It's okay. It's all right. Next, we have us a black creature for 5. It's 3/4 for 5. No. 3/4 for 4. I looked at that wrong. I was adding to it. Dag blaggit. Rock Farm Vortipede for 3 generic, 1 black. Creature, insect. Whenever one or more creatures leave your graveyard, Rock Farm Metropede gets +1/+0 and gains menace and lifelink until end of turn. That ain't bad. I mean, it's okay. Alright, next we have Offender at Large. 4 generic and a red with disguise. Giant Rogue, 5/4 for 5. Disguise for 5. So you pay 3 to flip it over to a 2/2 with Ward 2. Then you pay 5, which is same as the casting cost, to flip it. Alright, when Offender at Large enters the battlefield or is turned face up, up to 1 target creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Not bad. Hey, D. Lawson. Next we have us a green 0/0. Flourishing Bloom Kin. 1 generic, 1 green. Plant Elemental. Flourishing Bloom Kin gets +1/+1 for each forest you control. Oh. And it has disguise for 5. So you can cast this down as a 2/2. And then once you get up to 5s, you can flip it. And it'll be a 5/5. When Flourishing Bloom Kin is turned face up, search your library for up to 2 forest cards, reveal them. Put one of them into the battlefield tapped and the other into your hand, then shuffle. So it'll turn into a 6/6 once it's flipped. Not bad. Not bad at all. I sent you a message asking if you want to join this stream with me, D. Lawson. But I didn't hear no response back. Next, we have Ally Assailant for 3. 2 and a black. Enters battlefield tapped. Has disguise. It's a 3/3 for 3. And disguise cost is 6. So it takes 6 to flip this. And when it is turned face up, target opponent loses 3 life and you gain 3 life. It ain't bad. But the disguise cost is what's bad about this Vampire Rogue here. Alright. There's your link, D-Loss, if you want to join. All right. Next, we have Torch the Witness for X and a red. Sorcery speed. Torch the Witness deals twice X damage to target creature. If XX damage was dealt to that creature this way, investigate. So, you got 2 mana. So you got 2 mana. You play this. So if what's going to do 2 damage. Twice, so it's do 4 damage. Not bad at all. And you get to investigate, so it's pretty good. Pretty good. Alright. There we go. Let's see. What do you think about Touch the Witness, D. Lawson?
It needs to be an instant.
I mean, yeah, I agree. It does need to be an instant, but you still do twice X damage. I think it's pretty good, but it could be better if it was an instant.
That's my only issue with it. I hate sorceries on those.
Yep. Eliminate the impossible for 1 and a blue. Instant. Investigate. Creatures your opponents control get -2, -0 to end a turn. If any are suspected, they are no longer suspected. What? Well, it'll take that menace away from your opponent's creatures and give them -2, -0. And it's also an instant. I think this card, I think it's okay for 2 mana. What you think about it?
Solid.
Think it's pretty solid? Alright. Next, we got us another foreign card. 4, 5, 6. 4 generic, 2 blue. Agency Teamster. So it's a 4/3, 4 6. Hey. Sphinx Detective with flying. When Agency Teamster enters the battlefield, you may search your graveyard, hand, and or library for a card named Magnifying Glass, and or a card named Thinking Cap, and put them onto the battlefield. If you search your library this way, shuffle. Well, it's a free tutor. We don't know what Thinking Cap does yet, or Magnifying Glass, but this might be good once he find out what those are. What's your thoughts?
I would have to be reserved on that one until I find out what the Magnifying Glass or the Thinking Cap does.
Okay, I agree there. I'm the same way. I don't know what they do. All right, you want to handle the next 2?
Sure. What do we got here? We got Fanatic Scapegoat. One red haste. When Fanatic Scapegoat enters the battlefield, suspect it. When 1 or more creatures enter the battlefield under control, Fanatic Scapegoat is suspected. You may suspect 1 or one of the other creatures. If you do, Fanatic Scapegoat is no longer suspected.
So it comes into the battlefield with haste and menace, but cannot block because it's suspected. All suspected creatures cannot block. They just gain menace. And it's a 1/1. I like it. Just because it has haste. Okay.
Yeah, no, actually, I like that. Actually, I like its second ability better.
Well, being able to lose suspected?
Well, no, actually giving something else suspected.
Yeah.
You give a bigger creature a menace.
Yeah, true. That is good. All right.
Oh, goody, we got another Phoenix.
Ooh.
When Lamplight Phoenix, 1 and 2 red, flying, 3/3. When it dies, you may exile it and collect evidence 4. If you do, return Lamplight Phoenix to the battlefield tapped.
Ooh. So reoccursion to have stuff in your graveyard. Evidence 4 ain't gonna be it's not gonna be hard to get. Yeah, this might be all right. Depends on how good this evidence is going to be. You don't want to run evidence cards in a reanimator deck. All right, I'll get the next one. Leyline of the Guild Pack. For 4 hybrid banners. Green whites, green blue, black green, or red green. So you can cast this for 1, 2, 3, 4 green if you want to, or 1 in each one of those colors. And if Leyline of the Guild Pack is in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. We've had that cards like this before. That when they're in your opening hand, and you can just go ahead and play them whether you go first or not. They automatically come to the battlefield if they're in your opening hand. All right, each non-land permanent you control is all colors. Each non-land is all colors, okay? Lands you control are every basic land type in addition to their other types. So basically, this is like the last Planeswalker we got, the Wrenn. That changes all your land into all colors. Basically, from what I'm getting off from this Leyline of the Guild Pack, does the same thing as that Planeswalker. Am I reading that right?
Yeah, that's actually incredible.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a good enchantment.
Oh, Domain's got another weapon's what it's got.
Yep. All right, we'll just start doing them every other one.
Hard-hitting question. 1 green sorcery. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature or planeswalker you don't control. Plain and simple. Good removal spell.
Yeah, it's a good removal spell. It's not a fight spell, but it's a good removal spell.
I don't want to fight. That actually kills the Death Touchers.
Yeah, exactly. It will. I'm just saying, but let's say if you're running the Death Touchers, it wouldn't work with your Death Touchers. All right, next up we have Lumbering Laundry for 5 generic mana artifact creature golem. But we've got a lot of golems in standard right now, thanks to Wilds. All right, you pay 2. Until end of turn, you may look at face down creatures you don't control anytime. Oh, so with this, you can pay 2. Look at your opponent's face down creatures to see what they are, because it says creatures you don't control. So you can look at their creatures anytime. Then this also has disguise for 5. So you can play this for 3, and then flip it back over, and then flip it back up once you get to 5. So yeah, I like this. It's really going. I think it's going to see some play, a lot of play, especially because you're able to look at your opponent's creature, face down creatures. Nice. What's your
I like the quote on it.
a true crime of fashion?
Yeah, that's actually quite hilarious.
Yeah. What do you think about the card, though?
It might see some play depending how much people are playing with the face down stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I like this just because you're able to see what they got. They can't hide what they got on the battlefield. Because then you see what they got. They got a powerful creature down on the battlefield, and it's a 2/2 at the time you look at it. And they ain't got the mana to flip that. You can play a spot removal to get rid of that creature before they have a chance to flip it. That's what I like about this card. And it's got a pretty good booty on it too, because it's a 4/5. Yeah.
Yeah. And what we got? Doorkeeper Thrall. One and a white, 1/2 flyer with flash. Artifacts and creatures entering the battlefield don't cause abilities to trigger.
Ooh.
That's gross.
Yeah. But this is such a weak creature, it can easily be killed. But it has flash, so you can use it for that one turn since it has flash.
Oh, that's strictly to slow down Traxa and anything that has any kind of trigger abilities.
Correct. I believe this Doorkeeper Thrall will see some play because it countering abilities.
Oh, absolutely, that'll see play.
All right. Well, we ain't got much more. Next, we got Outrageous Robbery for X black instant. Okay. Target opponent exiles the top X cards of their library face down. You may look at and play those cards for as long as they remain exiled. You may cast a spell this way. You may spend mana as though it was mana of any type to cast. Give me your deck. I'm playing your deck. Dag blanket. Good instant.
As long as they remain exiled. You can do that multiple turns.
Yeah, exactly. Because they're exiled.
Yeah, it says, you may play those cards as long as they remain exiled. Wow.
And it does not say to end a turn. And that's exactly why I say, give me your deck, dag blanket. I'm playing it. Very good.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yep. Okay.
Exit Strategist. 1 and a blue creature. Human Detective 2/1. Can't be blocked by creatures with power 3 or greater. 1 and a blue for disguise. When this is turned face up, return target creature to its owner's hand.
Oh. That's powerful. For a 2/1, that's powerful because with ETBs, you flip this, return one of your creatures that has ETB back to your hand. Then you can replay it. Then if you got another one of these, flip it, bounce this back to your hand. Put this face down, flip it, and just keep bouncing stuff back and forth to your hand. Pretty good. Pretty good. I like it.
Yeah, not bad.
I mean, it's not bad for, I think it's more of a filler card, but I don't think it's bad. All right, next up we have Soul Search. Orzhov, 1 white and 1 black sorcery. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it. Exile that card. The card mana value is 1 or less. Create a 1/1 white and black spirit creature token with flying. I do not think that the second part of this will kick off, because it says mana value 1 or less. There's not
Most of the time, that is not going to matter. But I'm going to get rid of something really, really powerful out of your hand otherwise.
Exactly. That's what I would rate it. That's what I would do myself with this. All right. Then the last one's yours. Then we'll talk about them.
Gryph-Knot Tracker. 3 and a white. Human detective. Flying. It's a 3/2. When Gryph-Knot Tracker enters the battlefield, exile up to 2 target cards from a single library.
No, graveyard.
Oh, graveyard. My bad.
No.
It's a common. That's the
Yeah.
reason why it's underpowered.
Yeah, it's filler. All right. Let's go to ratings. Did you see these ones that I read before you came onto the stream?
Yeah. I kept up with those. I read those at lunch.
Oh, okay. This one, I'd rate it as a great card.
Which one?
Curious Inquiry.
Oh yeah, it's a curiosity. It's a version of a curiosity. Yeah.
I'd rate this as a great card. I mean, it only costs 1, and it's an aura. So as soon as it comes into the battlefield, it attaches to one of your creatures. So yeah, I'd rate this as a great card.
Yeah, I won't disagree with that.
All right, the next one. The Case of the Forsaken Feast. What would you rate this as? Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. If you gain 5 life, you solve it. And then for 1 turn, you can reanimate a card from your graveyard. That's the creature cards. I'm going to rate this as a high good card. And what's your rating? You there? Did I just lose D. Lawson? Yeah, I lost him. All right, there you are. You're back.
On the Case of the Forsaken Feast, I could see the C in play.
Okay, what would you rate it?
I would say that's a good card. I would say it's great.
All right. think they released another one. Alright, caught red-handed. I'd rate this as a great card, although it costs 5. That's the only problem with it is the cost. But other than that, I believe this is a great card. Because you gain control of the target creature. It gets suspected. And you only gain control of it till the end of turn. So you give your opponent's creature menace. But it cannot block.
I don't think that's going to see much play.
You don't think it's... You don't think so?
No.
Maybe...
because we've had those effects before, and I've not seen them in very many decks.
Maybe low, good, borderline good, bad.
I would say it's at the low end of the good.
Yeah,
it's sideboard card at best.
Yeah. So borderline good and bad. Okay. All right, Sphinx. All right, Conspiracy Unraveler for 5 blue. Flying, you may collect evidence 10 rather than pay the mana cost for spells that you cast. So you collect 10. So collect 10 evidence out of your graveyard, which is exile up mana value 10 or let exile mana value 10 from your graveyard to cast a spell for free. And this is a 6/6. Mythic. I want to say borderline good. Not great, but not real good. I mean, it's good, but barely good.
That's just calling for somebody to mess around with this and make some odd deck with that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you have to do a lot of milling with this card.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yep. All right, next up we have Behind the Mask for 1 blue. As additional cost to cast this spell, you may collect evidence 6. Until the end of turn, target artifact or creature becomes an artifact creature with base power toughness 4 or 3. If evidence was collected, it gets 1/1 until the end of turn instead. Hey, Sandwich. This one, I want to rate it as high, good. I want to say great. Because you can make your opponent's artifact a 1/1. And make yours a 4/3.
Yeah. It's certainly different.
Yeah, that card is a little tricky. But I think it's borderline, almost, I think it's borderline great. Just because you're able to change your creature to a 4/3 and your opponent's into a 1/1 until end of turn. And this is an instant battle. It's a fight trick.
Yeah, it's a good combat trick.
All right. Rebel Belt's Maverick for 1 green, 1/1. Enters the battlefield, surveil 2. So you get to surveil once. Then when it dies, you can pay 1 green and put a +1/+1 counter on target creature and only activate it as a sorcery. This one, but it's got to be a borderline great.
For 1/1, for 1 mana, that's pretty darn good.
Yeah, and not only that, it gives that +1/+1 counters when it's in the graveyard.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah, you got to exile it.
Yeah, it's fine. That's what you're using it. That's actually not bad at all.
No. Next, we got Rot Farm Metropede for 3 generic and a black 3/4 insect. Whenever one or more creatures leave your graveyard, Rot Farm Priest gets +1/+0 and gains menace and lifelink until end of turn. This it'd be better if it was +1/+1 counters. Make it be a 4/4 for 1 turn. Unless you got multiple stuff leaving your graveyard. This is asking for you to collect evidence. As you're collecting evidence, you got stuff leaving your graveyard.
Right. And if it's going to give +1/+1 counters, it would be a common.
Yep. And it would be better if it was counters instead of just a buff.
Yeah, I say this is common filler. Again.
I want to say this is borderline good to bad.
Yeah, it's good for limited. I'll play that in limited, but I don't think I'll play it anywhere else.
Yep. Now, next we got a Fender at large for 4 generic and a red 5/4 with disguise 5. When it at large enters the battlefield or is turned face up to 1 target creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn. So for the same price that you would cast this, you would flip it. Because the disguise cost and the casting cost is the same. So you don't get no benefit really.
Well, you get the benefit.
I mean,
flipping it up in combat is what you do. It's a good combat trick.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you get that benefit, but yeah, you're still paying the same amount for the disguise cost as it would if you just cast it.
Yeah.
There's no discount on the disguise cost. This, I want to say borderline bad.
Yeah, it's bad. It's horrible. Yet again, I played it in limited. That's about it.
Yeah, the more I read it, the worse it gets, it seems like. Maybe that disguise cost was cheaper than the casting cost. Then I'd give this a better, a little bit bigger rating. That's what my problem with it. All right, next for 2, we got a 0/0 plant elemental. Flourishing Bloomkin. Flourishing Bloomkin gets +1/+1 for each forest you control. Has disguise 5. So you can play this down as a 2/2. Then when you get to 5, you can flip it. And when you flip it, you search your library for 2 forest cards, reveal them, put 1 onto the battlefield and the other into your hand. This one, I'm gonna say it's borderline great because it's good, but it's not great. That disguise cost is getting me again on these cards.
You got to remember that is when it says it could up to 2 forest cards. It doesn't say basic forests. You could go after anything that is has forest in the name of that land.
Correct. Yeah,
that's better than you're thinking it is.
That's a great card.
That's a little better than you're thinking it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this Flourishing Bloomkin is a great card.
I would say it's a high good. I think that might see some play.
A high good? Okay. All right, Alley Assailant for 2 generic, 1 black, 3/3 enters the battlefield tapped. And it has disguise for 6. So it costs 3 to cast it. But if you play it for 3 and have it face down, it's gonna cost you 6 to flip it. And when it flips face up, target opponent loses 3 life and you gain 3. I believe this disguise cost is too high on this card.
They did that on purpose because of what it does.
Yeah. But it'll be a while before you get this actually flipped. Unless you're running black and green, maybe.
Now, if I play this as just as a 3/3 for 3, not bad.
Right. It's the disguise cost that's hurting this. They want you to play the disguise. They made this cost too much for it. That's my opinion. And by that disguise cost being so high, I'm going to give this a rating of borderline bad.
Yeah, it's a low good to a bad, yeah. Just because of, I like it for a 3/3 for 3.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I would like that card.
Yep. But you understand this rating system I got, right? Don't you?
I don't know. I don't know what your rating system is.
All right.
I'm rating how I would rate them.
Yeah. Well, the way I'm rating them is if they're bad, they go in the bad. The rating is bad. If they're somewhat good, then they can be maybe borderline bad, borderline good, or borderline bad. If they are great but not real great, then it's a high borderline great. Now, if they're an awesome card, then they're great cards. That's how I'm rating these.
Okay.
Next up, we have Torch the Witness. It's an X red sorcery. Torch the Witness deals twice X damage to target creature. If excess damage is dealt to that creature this way, investigate. I want to rate this as a great card.
Yeah, for removal, yeah. It's a great for removal.
Because it deals twice X damage. Yeah. Now, we got us a blue card. For 2 blue, we got eliminate the impossible. For 1 under blue instant, investigate. Creatures your opponents control get -2, -0 to end a turn. If any are suspected, they are no longer suspected. Okay, so it gets red. Basically, it gives all your opponent's creatures -2, -0, and unsuspects them. Gets rid of their menace. I think this is probably a borderline great. I think it's a good card, but I mean, it still doesn't do enough. I don't think this card does enough.
I think this card is going to be a really good sideboard card in a lot of decks, in a lot of blue decks, especially if you're playing red.
Okay.
Because I could see somebody, I could see somebody playing the blue and dropping those in and just stopping your delaying a red turn.
Yeah. All right, next up, we got us a Sphinx Detective. For 6, 4 generic, 2 blue, Agency Teamster. It's a Sphinx Detective with flying. When enters the battlefield, you may search your graveyard, hand or library for a card named Magnifying Glass and a name thinking cap, put on the battlefield. This is 4/3, just rating the card itself. It depends on the other cards, but for it by itself, I'd give it a. I'd rate this as a good card. Not a great card until I find out what magnifying glass and thinking cap is. But for right now, I think it's a good card. 4/3, 4/6.
I'm going to leave the jury out on that one until I find out what the other two cards do.
Yeah, that's why I'm just giving it a good for right now. Next, we have the Frantic Scapegoat for 1 red, 1/1 goat with haste. When it enters the battlefield, it gets a suspect put on it. So that means it has menace and cannot block. However, whenever one or more other creatures enter the battlefield under your control, if a Frantic Scapegoat is suspected, you may suspect one of the other creatures. If you do, Frantic Scapegoat is no longer suspected. Well, it gives your another creature menace, but it can't block. This, I'm going to give it a good rating. I'm going to say it's good.
I think I'm going to play it. I think I'll play that in my red deck.
So you going to rate this as great?
Well, I would say it's good. I say it's a high good or a great card. I think it'll fit in red fine.
Okay.
I really do.
So a high good. All right. Lamplight Phoenix for 3 mana. 1 generic, 2 reds, 3/3. Nice. Has flying. Nice. When Lamplight Phoenix dies, you may exile it and collect evidence 4. If you do, return it back to the battlefield tapped. I'm going to rate this as just a high good until I figure out all this evidence.
Yeah. It's a 3/3 flyer for 3 in red. You can't beat that.
Yep. Okay. So it's a high good. Or are you giving it a great rating or a good?
I would give it a great. Okay. I would, for the sheer fact you very seldom find 3/3 flyers in red for 3.
Okay, so you're giving it a great rating. I'm giving it a good rating. Okay. Next is the Leyline of Guildpact for 4 hybrid mana. Green for green white, a green blue, or a black green, or a red green. So you can use 4 green manas for this if you want to. It's an enchantment, and if Guildpact is in your opening hand, when you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. So if you have this in your hand when you start the game, it automatically comes out of your hand and goes straight to the battlefield. Each non-land permanent you control is all colors. Lands you control are every basic land type in addition to their other types. I'm going to give this a great rating.
Oh, absolutely great.
Because let's say you have this and this, and you have 4 green mana. And say you have, let me see. I can find an example. All right, so you only have the green mana. You have a card in your hand that costs black. Well, this right here. The artifact vehicle that we got.
Mm-hmm.
It's one blue and a red. All right, but that ley line out on the battlefield, this artifact vehicle is just going to cost 3 mana, and that is it. It's not going to cost 1 blue red. It's just going to cost 3 lands. Because it will be all colors from the ley line. And also, all your land is going to tap for all colors with the ley line. The lands you control are every basic land type in addition to their other types. So they're going to be able to tap for all colors. So your plains is going to tap for swamps or forest or mountains or whatever color you want to tap it for. So that's going to be good. All right, next we have hard-hitting question. For 1 green, sorcery. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature or planeswalker you don't control. I like cards like this, so I'm going to have to give this a great rating.
Oh, yeah. I think it's very good. Good removal.
All right, next we have Lumbering Laundry. 5 generic mana. Artifact creature, Golem. All right, you pay 2 until the end of turn. You may look at face down creatures you don't control any time. Huh. And it has disguise for 5. And you play it down as a 2/2 for 3. It's a 4/5. I'm gonna say this Lumbering Laundry is going to be. I think I'm gonna rate it as a great card. Just because you're able to look at your opponent's face down creatures.
I would say it's good at best for the sheer fact we don't know how much people are going to be playing with the disguise.
Right. Now, if they play a lot of disguise, I'm going to say it's probably going to be great. Next up, Doorkeeper Thrall. 1 and a white. Flash, flying, artifacts, and creatures entering the battlefield don't cause abilities to trigger. So that's your artifacts and creatures and your opponents. It shuts it all down. So it works for you and against you. But I'm still going to give this a high good rating.
I think it's great. I really do. I think that's going to see a lot of play.
Yeah. I think what this it's lacking is opponent. The word opponent. But other than that, I can give it. That's why I give it a high good, because it is good. Next, we got Outrageous Robbery for X black. Instant. Target opponent exiles top X cards of their library face down. You may look at and play those cards for as long as they remain exiled. If you cast a spell this way, you may spend mana as though it was mana of any type to cast it. I am going to rate this as a great card.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great card. I actually can't wait to play with that one.
All right, next we got Exit Specialist. For 1 and a blue, 2/1, Human Detective can't be blocked by creatures with power 3 or greater. It has disguise for 2, so same price as it would to cast it. You can play it face down for 3 as a 2/2 with Ward 2. When it's turned face up, return another target creature to its owner's hand. It's a 2/1. I'm going to rate this as a borderline great. because of it being a 2/1.
Yeah, I'll give you that one.
Alright. Next up, we got Soul Search for a white and a black sorcery. Target opponent reveals their hand, and you may choose a non-land card from it and exile it. If that card mana value is 1 or less, you get to create a 1/1 white and black spirit creature token with flying. Okay, with this one, it's got to be a high good because it's a duress. What it is, that costs 1 more to cast. But if you target that 1 or less, you'll get that token. But more and less, you're not going to be able to get that value 1 or less. Because it is non-land card. You have to choose a non-land card. So more likely, you ain't going to hit that 1. That's why I'm going to rate this as a high good.
Yeah.
Because you're able to look at your opponent's hand, that's what's so great about it. But it's not a great card because you cannot get both abilities. You cannot get the full benefit from the card. Next, we got Griffknot's Tracker for 3 and a white 3/2 human detective with flying. Enters the battlefield, exile up to 2 target cards from a single graveyard. A high good.
Yeah, that's a low good to me. As far as I'm concerned, that's draft fodder.
Think it's a low good?
Yeah, it's draft fodder.
But I want to give it a high good just because, you still have those decks out there to reanimate.
Yeah, but there's so much better cards to use to remove cards from the graveyard than that.
Yeah. Let me reread this. Let's see, 4. Yeah, this is bad. Now that I'm reading it more, it's bad.
Yeah.
It gets a bad rating. All right, next up is Riftburst Helion for 5 generic, a red and a green, 6/7. Whew, that's a high cost. It has reach. It has disguise for 4, hybrid red green, and hybrid red green. So 4 or 5. So it has disguise for 6. So you're getting actually one mana cheaper. I mean, you can play it face down, pay 6, flip it, and that's all it does. But it is a big body and it has reach. So I'm gonna give this
it's a great combat trick. It's a great combat trick.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give this a borderline great.
Okay.
I mean, it's not a great card, but it's more than a good card. It's the cost that's getting me.
Yeah, it needs to be lower.
Yep. Next up, we got Neighborhood Guardian. Yeah, they just dropped these 4.
Yeah, no, yeah, they just dropped off. Yeah, they should just drop these.
All right, for 1 and a white, get a creature Unicorn. Whenever another creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield under your control, target creature you control gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Well, with this, if you build a big old weenie deck, this will go as a great card. Yeah. Now I plan on building a weenie deck when the set comes out. So yeah, I'm gonna give this a great rating.
Yeah. especially that big game, you could drop more than one creature. You can pump several creatures.
Yep. Next up, we have us another case. Case of the Shattered Pact for 2. When this case enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. And if you didn't play a land that turn, there's your land. Then to solve, there are 5 colors among permanents you control. Oh. 5-color deck to solve this. And then solved at the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature you control gains flying, double strike, and vigilance to end a turn. Yeah, this is probably a low grade. The reason why I'm getting the card that helps this is that Leyline.
Very good. You recognize that. I was wondering if you would. I recognized it immediately.
But I'm still going to give this a borderline grade just because it's requiring 5 colors.
With the Leyline out, you just need 1 permanent out.
Correct. That's why it gets a borderline great.
Yeah. This is gonna see play with the Leyline, absolutely.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Next we got Living Conundrum for 5. 4 generic, 1 blue, 2/5. Big booty on it, so that's good. Elemental, hexproof. Nice. If you would draw a card while your library has no cards in it, skip that draw instead. As long as there are no cards in your library, Living Conundrum has base power and toughness 10/10 and has flying and vigilance. Okay. Oh my God. Really? This card is a great card. I'm going to give this card a rating of great. And the reason why keeps you from losing the game.
Oh, absolutely. It's if you're playing against the mill deck, this will stop mill in a heartbeat.
Because it turns into a 10/10 if you have no cards and no more cards. If you're milled out, it turns into a 10/10. And you don't get no draw phase. So you cannot draw that card where you have no cards and lose the game. This worked great in a self-mill deck. It's a 10/10. Has base power of the 10/10. That's good. And it cannot be targeted either because it has hexproof. The only way this can get targeted is by spells that's like Farewell. That's all you'd have to worry about. But other than that,
and Sunfall.
Yeah, Farewell, Sunfall, Sacrifice spells. That's the only way you'd lose the game without this card. Nice. Therefore, this card is going to get a great rating.
Oh, somebody's going to build a deck around this guy.
Me.
Absolutely.
Me.
Yeah, surprise. Yeah, somebody's going to.
Next, we have Cryptic Coat for 2 generic and a blue. Equipment. When Cryptic Coat enters the battlefield, cloak the top card of your library. Then attach Cryptic Coat to it. Okay. Equipped creature gets +1/+0 and can't be blocked. Pay 1 and a blue, return Cryptic Coat to its owner's hand. Huh. And for Cloak, You just pay for the mana cost of the card in order to cast it. So yeah, this I'm gonna say it's a good card. I'm gonna say it's a great card.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if there's anything else dropped. Yep, we just had another case drop. Case of the Gateway Express. 1 white. When this case enters the battlefield, choose target creature you don't control. Each creature you control deals 1 damage to that creature. Busted. And then to solve, 3 or more creatures attack this turn. Oh, that ain't hard. Then to solve, and when you get it solved, creatures you control get +1/+0. I'm going to give this one a great rating.
Yeah.
Because when it enters the battlefield, say your opponent has a 5/5, and you have at least 5 1/1s. So when this enters the battlefield, their 5/5 dies unless it has hexproof. Well, yeah, no, because you're not targeting. When this creature case enters the battlefield, now you are targeting. So let's say your opponent has a 5/5, just a regular 5/5 card out. You got 5 1/1s out. You play this card, their 5/5 is dead, and you haven't even attacked. Of that 5/5, take 1 damage from each creature that you control. That's why I'm going to give this a great rating. What do you give it, D. Lawson?
Yeah, I'm going to give it at least a high good to a low great. I'd play it.
Yeah, I think it's a great card. Play it in late game, especially. Because it wants you to play it. It don't want to be played in the early game. It wants to be played in the late game. And one thing about some of these cases, they do not leave the battlefield. So you'd get that effect from them. And you can also double up on them. So yeah, I'm gonna give that. I got to give that a great rating.
I take it they have not spoiled any more of the special guests in the packs, have they?
Nope. As far as I know of, they have not.
I was really hoping to know what else is coming in.
Yeah. Well, they got these. These are the Clue edition here. Yeah, I don't think they've done any more special guests.
Yeah, that's fine. It'll pop up eventually.
Yep. Well, that's pretty much the spoilers, folks. That's my ratings and D. Lawson's ratings on the cards.
Yeah, we got what looks like we got like 11 more cards that need spoiled.
See, I don't know how many is in the sets. And according to this, it's
233.
Yeah, according to this, it's 233 cards, and we got 222 spoiled.
I'm guessing the magnifying glass and the other one will pop up eventually.
Yep, hopefully.
Oh, the magnifying glass has already been spoiled.
Oh, has it?
Yeah. It's 3 casting cost artifact, tap, add colorless, tap 4, investigate. 4 and tap, investigate.
That is an artifact, isn't it?
Yeah.
Colorless. Don't see it. There it is. Okay, so there's a magnifying glass. They have the other one.
Doesn't look like it.
So it might get spoiled tomorrow.
If I'm not mistaken, I think that magnifying glass is a reprint.
I believe it is. Yeah, I believe it is a reprint. Hey, James Willis. Yeah, let's refresh one more time. Well, get back on date. Now refresh. No, that's all they're going to give us today. Well, folks, that's all the spoilers for today, and my ratings and D. Lawson's ratings. I appreciate you coming on, D. Lawson. And I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here. Yeah, y'all have a good day. And if you seen a card that you like, let me know in the comments. And I'll see you back here again tomorrow with some more spoilers. If I don't do them during the morning stream, y'all have a good one. I'll be seeing you later, everybody.